Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Horse Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, we're going to start out talking about Taika Waititi again. He was now on the Kelly Clarkson show talking about his new film, Next Goal Wins, when of course they asked him about Star Wars because why not?
Everybody gets asked about Star Wars if you've ever been attached to it.
Yes.
We discussed that the other day, didn't we?
He kind of echoed his sentiments from when his report came out with Business Insider. He says, I've been developing a Star Wars film for a few years, but I think with any film, but that one in particular, it's something I'd really like to get right, so I don't want to rush it. It's going to bubble along on the side. I want to capture that joy and entertainment of those early ones, like Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and all of those. So I'm trying to figure that out. It'll happen.
The joy of The Empire Strikes Back?
Well, if you like the Empire, there's plenty of joy.
I suppose, yeah.
But it's weird because isn't that what they all say? Is we want to recapture that magic from. I'm like they kind of all say that.
Well, it's interesting because it's again going back to the original trilogy, right? Mm-hmm. It's always like the prequels are that like I don't want to get that joy back.
We want the joy of the originals.
It does seem that way, right? Like everybody kind of it seems like anybody talking about Star Wars usually kind of distances themselves from the prequels. Even J.J. Abrams, we want to go back to practical effects and not doing it like the prequels did, basically.
But George made those too.
Well, sure. I just it's always interesting how they always seem to do that. Like nobody wants to talk about the prequels, and it's strange because there are a lot of prequel fans out there.
Absolutely.
A lot of people who just in general like the prequels.
But it's always about capturing the magic of the original. That's what every reboot, reshoot, re-sequel, whatever is. It's always trying to capture the magic of the original.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's trying to, diss the prequels here, necessarily, but it always kind of comes off that way. Mm-hmm. Though that said, I get what he's saying. Mm-hmm. You always want to try to recapture that old magic, right? You want to, whatever worked for Star Wars, you want to do it again.
Exactly. Now let's move on. We got some more quotes from Dave Filoni talking about Hayden Christensen's performance in Ahsoka. Dave, in particular, praises what he called the ferocity of performance, talking about how Christensen portrayed his character, talking particularly about his lightsaber work, saying his lightsaber skills are just insane. I mean, he is the chosen one, there's no doubt.
Not to ignore his comment here, but we can get to that. But it is kind of funny how he didn't ignore the prequels, did he? And yet he gets accused of being the nostalgia baiter.
Yes.
It is interesting.
He's not wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if Hayden Christensen actually has a little dojo in his house and literally practices his
But no, I mean,
skills.
To put a cap on that point, no, it is funny. Taika Waititi can say he wants to recapture the original trilogy, but bringing back Hayden Christensen for some people was oh my god, just nothing but nostalgia bait. I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I find it interesting.
But he's not wrong, in a sense. I feel like Hayden Christensen really does. His lightsaber performances have always... I feel like they've gotten better over time. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he takes it very seriously, I think.
Yeah.
He is Anakin Skywalker. That is kind of what he will always go down being most known for and most famous for.
Exactly. Well, now he's also played Vader, so he gets a little of that, too.
Anakin Skywalker is Vader. But I get what you're saying. He's now played a different phase of Anakin's life.
And that has to be exciting for him to be playing a character that's evolved so much. He played the Fall, and now he's playing kind of the redeemed version that still always is going to be struggling with the dark side.
Yeah, I should say his afterlife, because it's not his life anymore, but...
True. Well, Filoni says he's always wanted to work with Christensen. He says for years he's wanted to work together with him, ever since they met backstage at a Star Wars celebration and had an instant connection. They bonded over shared experiences, working with George Lucas, as they obviously both have. And then they've both, of course, followed the character of Anakin, just at different phases, because Filoni took Anakin's story further in the Clone Wars, whereas, of course, George Lucas created Anakin. Filoni said it was kind of amazing to have somebody who had this experience, too, who would know the things I was talking about related to Anakin and how George saw him. We really understood each other and the language of it.
I'm sure George talked Anakin, or Hayden's, I should say, ear off back in the day.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
If you even see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, you can see George talking to Anakin and this is how he would feel right now, and you're trying to do
Well, you've got a character whose future is set. You know where you have to get to, so I imagine there's a lot of work to get there.
Well, there's a ton of work, especially when you start him out as this, pretty pure-hearted, altruistic boy. I just want to help everybody and see the stars. And then he has to become Darth Vader, so... You gotta show that transition somehow.
Yeah, Filoni didn't want Anakin and Ahsoka's reunion to delve into a Star Wars history lesson, so rather than just writing like a Force Ghost scene, he set their reunion in the World Between Worlds, which allowed them to kind of journey through some of their past together, like via some sort of like the flashback type sequence. He said before filming, like Christensen binged episodes of the Clone Wars, and both he and Filoni wanted to make sure that those flashback sequences remained focused on Ahsoka and her complicated relationship with Anakin.
It did feel like a little Matt Lanter Anakin in the way he was talking, too.
Right, because
like
he
had been
it,
influenced by
it.
Clone Wars, yeah. I definitely felt that. That was it was kind of nice because you kind of got this weird bridge between the Hayden and the Lanter performances of the character.
It was very nice.
I thought he did well. I thought he did really well there. It was awesome for him to see how well he did. Like, you can, again, we go back to that nostalgia bait thing, but whether or not you believe that, you can't deny that Hayden did a damn good job.
Filoni says, we discussed how this isn't really a story about Anakin, but it's important to see how Ahsoka sees Anakin. This is her lived experience. His story's already told, and George's saga is done. But this is important for her because you're her mentor.
Well, not only that, but you became Darth Vader. I mean, that's the real key here. It's not like, oh, that was my mentor. No, my mentor went on to become Darth Vader, the worst guy in the galaxy.
Yes.
Not counting Palpatine, and he did all these horrible things. And yeah, you absolutely need to see how Ahsoka grapples with that.
Filoni said some of his favorite days were watching Christensen on set with Ariana Greenblatt, who played the young Ahsoka in the flashback scenes, because it felt like an episode of Clone Wars come to life. He said it gave me pause just to stand there and look at him in the costume, standing next to Ariana, because in my mind, it really is no different. No matter the medium, the image is always Anakin with Ahsoka, that older brother, younger sister dynamic.
Oh, I agree.
And
I thought she did a really good job with the young Ahsoka, too, yeah.
She did, and I feel like she did really well with her little fight sequence.
Yeah, she kind of, as best you can capture the really athletic Clone Wars.
Yeah, because it's hard to
it's
to
animated,
emulate,
and she can do anything, yeah.
Yes. During, of course, that Clone Wars flashback, we see Anakin's silhouette flicker and kind of back and forth a little between him and Darth Vader, walking across the battlefield, red lightsaber. Filoni wanted to keep that moment as just a moment, an acknowledgement of Anakin's tragic arc and a warning for how hate can lead to destruction. He says, on that day, nearly every member of the cast and crew showed up to catch a glimpse of him in that iconic Vader suit. He said, all Vader had to do was walk in a line, but so many people came to set just to see somebody in a Darth Vader costume walking in a straight line. You realize the power of these characters and the archetypes that George Lucas created and that real responsibility. You never want that to lessen. You have to keep that as a powerful thing. That's true. You cannot cheapen Darth Vader.
Well, no, that's the problem with Darth Vader. As much as I think fans would love to see a hell of a lot more of him, the more you use him, maybe the less you kind of mystique is around him.
We have to know he's there for important purposes and stuff, and if he's there all the time, it doesn't feel as impactful when he's there.
Yeah, like when you read the comic books. No, I just think as much as you would want to see Darth Vader all the time, I think it kind of would lose that feeling.
I can definitely agree with that as a fan of Darth Vader.
You certainly are.
Don't look at my desk when you say that.
Every time we mention Vader, I have to have like 7 of them staring back at me.
You're lucky all they do is stare.
I know, and there's probably more than 7. It's probably a understatement. Probably some hidden Vaders on there too that I'm not even seeing.
Hidden Vaders.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's move on to news this week in Star Wars, etc. We do have a special Meme Monday coming tonight. I can't talk about it too much because Thor's right here and we haven't recorded it yet.
Ooh.
But yes, the last of the secret themes is tonight.
I'm excited.
You should be.
Because I'm about to record it right now.
So you'll get to know what I'm talking about. For Wednesday, comics, we have the disappointing Obi-Wan Kenobi number 3. Because it is going to just be, once again, a reiteration of the episode. You're not going to get any extras, any more tidbits. They're not going to change the story. If you collect all the Star Wars comics and you collect it, awesome. But if you just collect stories that are new, then this is a pass.
No reason.
Save your $4.
Save your $4 or $5, whatever that one's going for, yeah.
We also, once again, are going to have voice chat Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, because Thursday is Thor's birthday.
Lies. Deception. Every day, more lies.
No, Thursday is Thor's birthday, so we will not be doing... Whatever. It's not going to be voice chat there. We are going to be switching it back to Thursdays, I believe.
I think so, yeah,
but
after that.
One more week of Wednesday nights. And that's all I got for you.
All right, well, then that's all we've got for you this time. Now it's your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of any and all of today's news, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.